Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial, I'll be talking about how to send email to multiple email addresses with PHP Mailer and JQuery, AJAX and PHP. And let's just test it out. This is the text area that I'm going to be using to compose the email. So this I can go to the next line. Thank you for the service. We are sending this email to appreciate you for checking in, for coming to get stuffs in our supermarket. Okay, so let's click the send email and keep your eye on these two email counts. This is currently 150 and this is currently 3078. So we are going to be sending it to these two email addresses. And let's check our database. These are the two email addresses that I'm going to be sending it to. And these are the email addresses that I've opened them here. I've opened them down here. So I'm going to click and submit. Just keep your eye on these two numbers. This is currently 150 and 3078. So let's sending email. I'm going to get back a response. Alright, this is the response that we got back. And yeah, you can see 151 and 3000. It was previously 3078 and now it's not 3079. So let's check them. Okay, so this is the email that was sent to the first email. And you can see hi there, thank you for your service. We are sending this email to appreciate you for coming to get stuff in our supermarkets. And see Polosebi, and the second one Pelosebi to me. Hi there, thank you for the same thing. So it's sent to the two email addresses that is on our database. All right. So this is the response I've got back from PHP Mailer. And if you have more than two, these are the two users in our database. If you have more than two, if you have like 50, 500, 1000, it's going to send to all of them. All right. This is what we are going to be doing in this tutorial. Okay, guys. Okay, so I've done the basic setup. So this is the text area that we're going to use to compose. The email, and this is the send button, and this is the list of the users that we have in our database. Now let's take a look at our database. I've included two users. The first Amsa Paul, then the second Paulus Paul, and email. The full name, two users with full name. The first full name and the second one full name and email. So I've done this. I've created these two columns, and let's go to our code. This is the setup. It's just normal HTML and CSS that I wrote. Don't worry, the lesson files of this tutorial is going to be available in the link of in the description of this tutorial. Okay, so before we continue, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the like button if you like this video, and click on the thumb down button if you don't like, and leave a comment while stating the reason why you don't like this tutorial. Okay, so now first of before we go on, these are my two email addresses that I'm going to be using, and they are, the first one is amsabayomipo@gmail.com. That's the one for this email address, and the second one, so these two email addresses are my two email addresses, and those are the two emails that we're going to be using as test. And let's come to PHPMailer website, PHPMailer repository on GitHub. So if you come to this page, scroll down, and installation, this is how to install PHPMailer. Just go to just install. If you have Composer installed on your PC, just run this command: Composer require PHP or PHPMailer or PHPMailer, and you can clone this repository. You can clone the repository. Also. And coming down here is a simple use of PHPMailer. This is simple and basic use of PHPMailer. Okay, so we are just going to go on and copy it from here, and we are going to paste it in our code just in a moment. And if you come down here, it states more documentation. You can see more documentation about it here. Okay, so let's go to our code. Okay, all right, so I've set up, in my setup I included jQuery and index.js, which is empty as of now. As you can see, it's empty as of now. And this PHP file we are going to use as to handle our email, to handle the email sending of email, and function is where we are going to put all the two functions that we are going to be having. Here is two functions that we are going to be having. And this preview here is just the preview of our database, just the preview of our database. If you have you can also set this up in VS Code. If you have SQL tools installed on your PC in the VS Code. Okay, now let's start. First of all, let's configure our PHPMailer. All right, and before we go on, let me show you. I've installed the PHPMailer, and this is the file of the PHPMailer. This is the folder. Sorry, this is the folder of the PHPMailer, and I can see I cloned the GitHub repository. I didn't download it. I cloned the GitHub repository, and this is the SRC where all the important files of PHPMailer are. So these are the files there. Okay, now it's telling us that let's just remove that. Okay, now if you use Composer, then this vendor or autoload.php is going to be there. Let's check if it is there. No, it's not there. So if you use Composer, the vendor.auto auto load is going to be there. But since I cloned the GitHub repository, I'm just going to require it on myself. I'm going to require it myself. Require homes. PHP Mailer, then src. Then first of all, I'm going to include PHPMailer.php. Then next, I'm going to include smtp.php. Then last one is the exception. We actually do not need the exception, but let's just include it. Okay. So now going to the PHP Mailer, first of all, we're going to instantiate the PHP Mailer, and the setup, this is setup smtp debug, it's smtp 2. We are using smtp to send it, and the setup, we are going to be using Gmail smtp to send the email. So we are going to be using Gmail. So if you have a Gmail account, you can use your Gmail. So if you have a Gmail account, you can use your Gmail. So this one is going to be smtp.gmail.com. Then username. The username is your email. My email is at gmail.com. Then the password, I'm not going to show you the password. And the port that works well with Gmail is 465. Right. Okay, so then these are more stuff that you can do with the PHP Mailer that you can add to the PHP to the Mailer. These ones here are very compulsory. The add address are compulsory, and reply to, if you want to add a reply to email, and CC and BCC, but we don't need those ones in this tutorial, and we're just going to comment them out. So we just need one add address. The add address is the address that you are sending the email to, the address of the recipient. So this is the email address of the recipient's email address. We are going to get to that in a moment. And set form. The form is you that you are sending the email, and I'm going to replace this with my email. The email I'm using here, I'm using to send the Gmail account that I'm using to send the email, and this is my name, or the name of your company, or the name of your website, or anything. You can put it here. I'm just going to put Paul Sebi. Then this one is a recipient's name and recipient's email, and we are going to be using the one in our database. In our database, the full name and email. So these are what the full name and email. That's what is going to be here. And attachment. If you want to add picture or file, if you want to attach files, so you can do those ones here. But we're not going to be doing that. We don't need it in this tutorial, so I'm going to comment that out. And coming down here is HTML, means that the content that we are sending to the recipient is going to be in HTML form or not. and yes, it's going to be in HTML form, so that we are going to be able to construct custom text. Subject, I'm just going to add this is a text, and body, the body of the email, we are going to be setting it with the from the front end with this, with our text area here. I'm going to be setting it there. Then alt body, you don't need that. You don't need that in this tutorial. You can add it yourself, but we don't need that. Yeah. Okay. So if email was sent, echo message has been sent, else. Yeah. Okay. Now the next thing is we are going to go on and configure our Gmail account to be able to use that, so that we'll be able to use it to send email. Else you should just throw an error. But let's see the kind of error that is going to do first of all. So let's move this into our function, because this file we're going to be using it to undo the submission. So instead of okay, let's try to arrange the code. Let's arrange the code. Just code arrangement. So we are going to put that here as a function. So I'm going to call it function send email. So it's going to take some argument here, which is the first one is going to be recipient email. Then second one is recipient full name. Then last one is the message that we're sending. Okay, so I'm going to dump everything here, and this is very compulsory. Oops. We are going to be moving this outside of the function. We are going to be moving it outside of the function, because this is going to throw an error. You can't use the PHP use keyword inside the function. It must be outside every scope. It must be outside of the scope. Okay, so having done that, you can now apply this. Recipient email is going to be here. The email that we are sending it to, then the name of the recipient that we are sending it to is going to be recipient's full name. Then the message, let's go on and copy it, and okay, the message is going to be in the body of the email. So let's message. Okay, so mail send. The mail send is going to return a boolean, and you can undo it yourself. It's going to return the boolean, so you can undo it and put it inside an if statement, that if the message was sent, then do this, else do that. But we are not going to do that in this lesson, so I'm just going to keep everything simple. Okay, so everything is now in the function, and now let's configure our form to be able to send the message. Okay, so I'm just going to grab the ID of the form, and since JQuery is installed, then I'm just going to go on and use the JQuery. Okay, use our JavaScript. Then let me initialize JQuery. So I'm just going to go on and initialize jQuery. Okay, so let me just put some space there and $sign dot click out submit. If it is submitted, then e dot prevent default. It will prevent it from loading the page. It will prevent it from loading the page. Okay, so let's grab the form. The form var form equal to this form. This form that is being submitted. Okay, now AJAX, jQuery AJAX. Now URL. Where are we sending it to? Where are we sending it to? As email handler .php. Data. What are we sending? What are we sending? Now we are going to be serializing the form. I'm going to be serializing the form. Okay, then method. Which method are we using? We are using the posts. Okay, so dot done. When it is done, function, we are going to be expecting a response. We are going to be expecting and we will get a response. Okay, so there is a container here to display the messages, to display the messages, to display messages. So I'm just going to grab it. So when the form is being submitted, I want to set the text to sending email. Okay, I just like putting semicolon. I like using semicolon in JavaScript. Okay, now when it is done, so I'm just going to set the inner text to the response that we got back from the server. The response is going to contain PHPMailer response. Okay, now let's assume it has been sent and it has been sent to this file. Now the first thing we need is database connection. We are going to put it in a function because we are going to make it reusable. Okay, so function db connection. Con and SQLi connect. So localhost, the host is going to be localhost, then username root, then the password no, then database is, what's the name of our database? And come back here. Database name is not here, but this is the name of our database here. Multiple mail is the name of our database. And you want to view it, multiple mail. Okay, so let's check if an error occur. If my SQLi error number in the connection is greater than 0. If it is equal to 0, that is no error occurred. Die. Stop the execution and okay. So we are going to be returning the connection. Okay, so let's go back to here. Let's come back here. And first thing first is let's get the connection. Okay, let's require the function. The function file. Let's require it into this file. Functions. Okay, now that we've required it, now we can now grab the stuff. DB connection. Okay, so next thing is let's grab the message that was sent through the form. Okay, now this is the text area and this is the name of the text area. This is the name of the text area here. Okay, message or to $_ is going to be in the $_ posts global variable. Now next thing we are going to do is fetch all the user in our database. That's going to be select all from users. That's the name of our table. Select all from users. That's the name of our table here. Okay, just ignore this. Just because I double clicked on it. Okay. Back here. Okay. Select all from users. So we are going to select everything. And we are expecting a result. Back from this function, MySQL query. Then we need the connection variable here. We need the connection here. Then our query. Okay. Now, what's the next thing? We need to loop through all the users in our database. MySQL fetch and sock. Then that's fetch results. We need to pass in the query. Now that we are now looping through the database, we need to call this function. We need to send the email by calling this function to send the email for us. And we're going to be calling this function. Now we need to pass the recipient email. That's going to be user, then the email column, email and full name. Then first thing to pass is email. Then so next thing is the full name. Then last thing is the message that we're passing. Okay, now we are done. Yes, we are done. Okay, now let's test it out in the front end. I'm not going to open this two of my email tabs, but I'm going to open it after I've sent the email. Now let's open up our console. Let's just open it there. It's going to show us, and let's reload the page again. It's going to show us anywhere that we made the mistake. Now, the next thing I would like to do is fetch all our users from database and display them here. And let's go and do that. The one important thing we need is these two things here. Let's go to the front end, and this is where we are going to do it. Here, this is where the test user and the stuff is, and this is the container. It's containing both of them. So I'm just going to inject PHP here. Paste it here, and what we are doing is similar to this. We are doing similar to this. Very similar. Okay, now we are going to loop into it with the while loop. While user equal to MySQL fetch and sock fetch results. Now I'm going to be breaking the PHP script here so that I'll be able to inject the HTML into it. Okay, now that the HTML is inside it, so it's going to be looping through it and it will be displaying this HTML inside. Let's just test it out. I can see, because we have two rows in database, so it's displaying two rows. Now what we are going to do is I'm going to inject, for this place, the user full name is going to be here. I'm going to inject PHP again, echo results, then the full name column. Just put this on here. Then the email is going to be here. Yeah, let's go and below the page. Alright, the sample and polospore. So the both of them are in our database. Okay, so these are the two users in our database that we are sending the email to. And let's just assume we have more than two. If the users are more than two, it will send the email to all of them. Now let's test it. This is a very good test from Paulus AB. Now let's click on the submit button, sending email, waiting for it. Maybe we have an error. Let's check our console. Okay, it's still sending. I can see it came back and said client caught while checking if connected, could not do so good, could not do so host. could not connect to SMTP host. Now let's go back to our functions, and I've not set the password, and I'm just going to go on and set it now. I'm going to set the password now. Alright, I've set the password. I've set the password. Okay, now let's try to send it again. I've set the password. Let's try to send it again. It's taking longer time because of the network connection. I'm waiting for it. Okay, said could not connect to SMTP host. Okay, now let's go on and set up our SMTP. Let's go to google.com. And go to accounts. The account that I'm using to, and this is my accounts. I see, and go to security, and just scroll down onto, and let's come to let's secure app access. Click on this turn on access and click on allow less secure apps. After turning this on, then let's come back and just ignore this loading stuff. It has done what we requested. Okay, now should we reload? No, we don't need to reload, but I just click on the send email again. Sending email. Just keep your eye on these two stuff. The number will increase. The number of the count is increased. This is currently 150 and this is currently 3078. Okay. Okay, I see getting the error. Okay, now let's go check what way to on SMTP auth. Okay, we need to disable this SMTP auth. Let's just disable it and go back. I'm going to go back and set my password back now. Alright, I've set my Google Mail password back inside the PHP Mailer, and let's test it back now. I'm waiting for it. Just make sure you keep your eye on these two email. Okay, now let's check what went wrong again. Okay, now let's go back and check where we made the error. Now we changed this 465. We changed the former port number that was there to 465, and what we need to change more is we need to change this start TLS to SMTP. Yes, to SMTP. Now I'm going to go to the browser and go back and change my password. Okay, I've updated my password. Now you cannot test it out. Send email. Alright, so this is the output. Just keep your eye on these two numbers here. 3078, 150. Now let's check if we made an error. Okay, the following form address field. Okay, without wasting much time, let's go check what happened again. So this is the output from the server. Okay, forgot to enable this. Let's enable it back and go back. I'm going to go back and update my password again. Okay, now let's test it. We don't need to reload. Just test it out now. Okay, hope you kept your eye on these two numbers. The current one is 150,378. Everything went well. As you can see, this is the log. Message has been sent. See, message has been sent. So I'm going to open my email now. I'm going to pause the video and open the email now. I can see in the email, I can see this is the message that was sent. This is the message that was sent. This is a very, very, very good test from PHP. So this is the title, the sent form email address, and you can see this is this PHP account. So I'm going to open the second one. Alright, this is the second one. It was sent here. Just for you to see it, check here. This is different one, and this one too is different one. It was sent to the both of them at the same time. It was sent to the both of them. This PHP account. See the name here and see the name here. See the different email here. So this is how to send email, and see the output that we got from PHPMailer. Alright, so this is how to send multiple email address, multiple email to this is how to send email to multiple email address. Sorry for that. Alright, so if you have like 500 emails, 700 emails, 1000 email addresses, it's going to send everything at the time. It's going to send everything. So this is the video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you like this video, give it a thumb up, and if you don't like it, just give it a thumb down and tell me the reason why you don't like it. Alright, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It motivates me to do more. Thank you. See you in next tutorial.